My name is Sam. I work as a mine geologist for a large mining firm. Most of my work involved working in an office in the city. But from time to time I had to travel to remote mining sites. One time I was asked to go to a remote coastal village, to carry out some inspections on one of our mines. There was no motels in this small community. But my company managed to find me a room close to the beach, for my week-long stay. The house belonged to an old couple. They were probably in their 80s. I was so looking forward to this trip. I couldn't wait to get away from the busy city, and spend some quiet time by the beach. The room I stayed in was fairly small, but it had the perfect view of the sea. I could hear the sound of waves from my room. It was always windy, the window had no lock, and it rattled. It looked like a fairly calm sea, but the old couple warned me against swimming. Apparently the sea is full of strong currents. It was fairly warm the first night I spent there, so I left the window open. The next morning I noticed something very strange. I noticed my table, where I kept my notebooks, was very messy. My books were all over the table. Some of my pens were on the floor. I couldn't remember the table being messy the night before. Maybe it was the wind, I thought, as I left the window open. The next day I kept the window closed. But when I woke up my table was still messy. And on top of that I noticed some scribbles all over one of my notebooks. This was very strange. Did someone come into my room while I was asleep? The next day I decided to stay up and figure out what was going on. The next night was clear, and a full beam of moonlight entered my room through the window. I was up till about midnight. As I was giving in to sleep, I heard the sound of my window slowly opening. It opened halfway and stopped. Then there was a silence for about a minute. Then I heard the sound of my chair, dragged out of the table. It seemed that some invisible figure had entered my room. I was shivering and sweating. I could not believe what I was seeing. I saw my books and pens moving by themselves. I was trying my best to act like I was sleeping. This went on for a few minutes and suddenly it stopped. After a brief moment of silence, I could see my blanket was moving at the end of the bed. This is when I decided to jump out of the bed and run out of the room. I grabbed my car keys while I was running out. I spent the rest of the night in my car. The next day I explained what happened the night before, to the old couple. The old lady burst into tears when she heard my story. Then she told me the story, how her only daughter, Olivia, drowned in the sea when she was 10 years old. She told me how her daughter used to live in the same room where I was staying. As she was telling me this story, her face suddenly lit up. She came close to my face and told me how Olivia comes to see them every night, and how I should keep her company. She begged me not to leave. And that was the last time I ever saw them.